Yo guys, I was doing quest 4 two-string and I couldn't get the trophies for that. I thought 32 was the maximum, and then in Discord I saw a bunch of people said there's even 37. I was wondering if you guys could give some tips, maybe how you were able to get the trophies if you weren't able to in the beginning.
Did you have
Yeah.
a seg fault? Did you have a segmentation fault?
What's that?
Did you have a segmentation fault that might have terminated your program?
No.
Okay.
Is your
I found
wrapper, like,
I can hear you.
was your wrapper the exact same as the one he had? Because I realized the reason I wasn't getting it was because I forgot hash end of tree. Did you make sure that your wrapper is the exact same as the specs?
Yeah, but also something weird in the spec, like it says to put end of tree with a lowercase t in the spec in the description, and then in the output that professor shows it's with a capital T. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I've tried even putting an
I just
end
use
line,
capital
an E
T.
line. What would you say?
I use a capital T.
It's a capital T. Okay, I'll make sure to do that. Yeah, and I put it exactly like in the spec. I even used his example, the tree rooted at 19. And it seems to work fine. I'm not sure where the error is. I checked for spaces. In the spec, it also shows the end of tree doesn't have a space between the hashtag and the N and the E, but in his output, there is a space. So again, I'm not sure.
Are you talking about two-string or?
Yeah.
Because sometimes like I can get through the quest because of the size. I didn't change the size, so
The size, I got everything else, and everything else uses
Oh.
size. So I don't think that's the issue.
So you're saying you got 32 for quest 4, which is Mockingbird stuff, and then I also got 32, so I don't know, like if
Yeah.
37 is even possible.
Yeah, so I got 32, and then people are saying two-string also gives trophies, and with 32 you don't get trophies for two-string.
Oh, that's the case? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get trophies for.
I think you only get trophy for like
Two-string,
some
yeah,
of the
two-string.
two-string. Like the butterfly definitely gives you a trophy for two-string.
You definitely get two-string trophies for both the files.
And
It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
Jonathan, did you manage to get like one of the two-string, or both not working for you?
No, both aren't working. What my method of doing this, I'm just so for the public version of the two-string, it just checks if the root's null pointer, it just returns the wrapper like with everything blank, and if it's not, then I use a string stream object to output the wrapper with the size and the data at the root, and then I call my private function.
I think that
Also uses string stream.
that first check in your public function might actually be the issue. I'm pretty sure it returns like the blank formatting even if it is null pointer.
I don't think so, because if it's null pointer and you're trying to access the data of root, wouldn't it throw an exception?
That is true. I'm just looking at my own, and I'm not sure why it doesn't actually. But that's how I have it set up.
I see. At the beginning, I just had it throw the not found exception if it was null pointer. But yeah, that's not working either.
I think there's, I mean, I didn't even, I just, if there was no point, I just returned an empty string. So it still worked for me. But so I guess it could work either or, because someone else said that they returned a wrapper too. So it might be something else. Do you have like are you adding like, I mean, the slash n or whatever, like to increment the line in the right
Yeah.
places?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have one after end of tree too.
Oh, you have one at end of tree too? Yeah, so I did that, and then I took it out, and then I tried it again, and I guess I'll add it back, but it's still, that wasn't the issue. It still wasn't working.
Is it like your private toString where like are you putting like the right nulls in places?
Yeah, there's no space between the brackets, right? It's just bracket and then null in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In my private, I create a string out and then a string stream for like each of the left data, right data. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if maybe that's, are you using string stream in your private function as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I was able to do it. So
Are you doing it recursively?
no.
Oh, do you just have like looping or something?
Yeah, I have while loops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that probably works too.
Yeah, I like recurse on the left children until it reaches null pointer, and then I recurse on the, or not recurse, loop. My bad. I loop on the left children, and then I loop on the right children afterwards.
Are we talking about a lazy tree?
Well, both of them do the same thing. Yeah, a little bit same string. It's just that lazy, you need to add the asterisk, right? It should be the
Yeah.
same.
This like your tree output like exact same as
Yeah,
his, like
it's exactly the same. Hmm. I have a feeling it might be like a white space somewhere, but I don't know. I'm going crazy. I was debugging this for like so long, and it's exactly the same. There's no spaces after, because there's like the data and then space colon and then space the data space data. There's no space after that last number, right? It's just a new line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm really lost.
Is your size right? Does your size match?
Yeah, my size is, I think so. I mean, it passed everything else. Right, and then in order to pass like remove and find and all of that, you had to have right size. Um, you know what, let me try. I'll try to remove and add and see if maybe my size is not right.
You can probably just look at the output on the testing and see if it's the same.
It's the same, but that's just inserting. Maybe like if I remove I don't know. I'll try. I'll try some of this stuff.
Sorry, just really quickly going back to the thing earlier, with the capital and lowercase t, what do you have it set to?
Right now I have it. Well, I had it lowercase, and then John told me capital, so I changed it to capital.
Yeah, I have it as a capital as well.
And do you also have a new line after the tree? after the.
I do have a new line.
Yeah. Let's see, let's submit it and see if it works. Yeah, it's not. The last one that I'm getting the garbage collection, and right after the lazy and large, 3 trophies for that. Yeah. Are you getting the 2 string rewards after? Is it like the last rewards?
The BST was with the rest of the BST stuff, and the lazy one was after the garbage collection.
Oh, the BST 2 string was
Was
BST
like at the end of the BST stuff, and then the lazy one's after the garbage collection.
Yeah.
In the trophies at least. Maybe or did you have a did you put hash size equals for the in the wrapper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Size equals. Yeah, hashtag size equals. With a lowercase s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put the wrapper in like the right order?
Yeah, it's hashtag tree rooted at whatever. It's hashtag size equals whatever, and then all the garbage, and then end of tree.
Okay, so you put in the tree after you called like the private
Yeah.
string. Okay.
Did you compare it to a sample output and see if the ordering of all the nodes is correct?
Yeah. It's all the same.
Do you want to do a quirky like web diff and see if you have any like hidden Unicode
try.
characters or something?
You try using a text comparer, like a online one.
Sure, I'll try that. Let's see.
Sometimes there might be some like hidden spaces.
I tried that and got exactly the same. So
All right,
And
let's see.
I think the new line at the last line is also one thing that I can check.
Did you check the right null? Doesn't have a space.
What?
The right null
The right null. What about it?
behind it, did you add a space or is it?
Yeah, there's a space in between the, like
Yeah.
in between the numbers. Right? Yeah, but not inside the bracket. Let's see. Two files are identical. That's crazy.
Are you filtering it so that if there's 2 null children, you're not printing it?
Yeah, there's 2 null, they're not printing. It's not printing anything, not even like the parent, right?
Yeah.
Just skips that line, yeah.
Are you making sure there's spaces around the colon?
Yeah.
So you're checking this based on the assumption that two-string method is graded, right?
Yeah.
I think I didn't get two string either, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's not graded at all.
No, but people are saying that they did get trophies, so it has to be like, yeah, John, you got trophies for two string, right? It
Yeah.
says, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only did it because the person on Discord said that they did. I didn't, because I originally had
Yeah.
32 too.
Mm.
I was that person on Discord, and
Oh.
I got some.
Thanks.
I got a couple. Yeah. Were you the
Yeah, 'cause it's
person
weird.
that said you got 37?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
I
what you
actually, I
got the
don't know
last
why.
two.
I just changed two string. What?
Oh, really? I don't know.
Like that was the only thing I changed to get the extra two string trophies. Because there's two. You get like for
Yeah,
lazy and BST.
I got both of them, but I only have 35.
Huh.
Did you
Are you
guys
throwing,
use recursion for the two
are you
string?
throwing exceptions? What?
Did you guys use recursion for the two string?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
I did as well.
Yeah, see, that might be the move. Might just rewrite this whole function. All right, well, thank you guys for the help. Appreciate it.
Wait, how do I see like the
I
sample
like returning
output
just like an
for
empty
the
string of root as well.
string? Yeah. Wait, how do I see the output for the like his output for the two string? Because like
It's
when
in
you get it
spec.
wrong, it doesn't show you the like what it should be.
It's in the spec. It should be.
Just
Not for lazy BST, not for only the regular BST.
Oh, for lazy BST, I just like intentionally like removed one of my functions so it's incorrect, and then it would print the thing, and I copied that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks.
I'm pretty sure the only difference is that there's a asterisk at the end of the number if it's deleted or is deleted. It's true.
Yeah, so I was looking at where those asterisks were, just the placement, and I added those in.
Yeah, wait, how'd you get 37? Because like after the two string, like did you get any other trophies?
no, that was the only one that I had 32 before, and then I got the two string trophies and added to 37.
Oh, okay. So two string is 5 basically, both of them combined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I don't know, I feel like the total might be 40. I'm not sure though. But yeah.
Hey guys, I just joined to, I didn't mean to interrupt anything, probably having a conversation. I just wanted to say hi. And also Chris had a demo and, I thought I'll join briefly. At some point when Chris is ready, he can Yeah, talk about it and share your screen and show it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't have anything to say in particular. Hey, actually, I do. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. You guys are going to be done with CS2C. However, we're going to offer an experimental section of the 2ABC track face-to-face in person with me, basically the whole thing, but it will be offered at 6 p.m. on campus. Okay, so that means it's not going to attract the usual, high schooler or usual college crowd. It's going to be more people that are really, programming and, like professionals maybe, already know Python. I want to play around in C++. Okay, those kinds of things. But it's going to start at CS2A. This in fall, okay, fall we'll start CS2A. I got to tell my CS2B students too, right? Because they could also help. And then maybe if it works out, the same batch can go on to do CS2B in the spring, and then winter, and then the same batch can do CS2C. All of them will do from 6 to 8 p.m. In one of hopefully one of the cool classrooms at Foothill. And then it doesn't have to end at 8 p.m. because I think it'll be more like a boot camp or a hackathon. So students come in, they start working on things. They can proceed at any pace they want. They can get together in small groups and work on little projects. And obviously, I will also for CS2A. More for CS2A, I'll guide some projects like we do in our online classes. You can look at all the recordings. We'll pick up a random project, and twist your name or something like that. We'll code it in class together. We'll do that in CS2A, and that will be this fall, and together on a shared screen and all. Everybody will get a chance to code and all. I don't know how many of you have done my CS2A. Very few, I think. Most of you just came into CS2B, I think. Hey, Andrew, you were in my CS2A, right? Yeah, okay. You remember, right? We coded in class and we had some fun. Yeah. So I think it'll be more like that, but I think it'll be in person, and we'll probably have a tutor too, right? Embedded tutor in class. So it'll be like a boot camp experience over over three quarters. So 2ABC, the same thing continuing all the way through. And a hackathon essentially, because we start at 6 and I don't think there's any class after us. So we could basically just hang around until midnight even, right? Until we're really, really tired, which is equal to I got to sleep now, essentially. Yeah. So so we can just keep going, and it'll be so. All right. So not you guys. Sorry, you're gonna be done. So the reason I wanted to say this was because if you know of people who can benefit from this, ask them to keep an eye out and enroll in my evening CS2A face-to-face section starting in fall. Hopefully it'll be the start of their C++ journey, leading all the way into complex algorithms and all, and beyond. So we'll do all the way through. So just spread the word. And the reason it's important to spread the word is that even though it's experimental, so experimental means we're going to try it out. If it doesn't work out, we'll just cancel the class. Okay, no big thing lost there for Foothill. So that means the class could be canceled if we don't have enough enrollments. So yeah, spread the word. Have people that enroll in this class when it comes. I don't know when they'll publish it, but when it's out there, have them enroll. I'll tell my CS2B students too, and then hopefully we'll have a blast. And they'll see all your videos, right? Yeah, they'll see all your videos in class. Oh, these guys did it in Zoom, but we're doing it in person. Okay, so I think it'll be fun. Anyway, it's a new experience. I think I'm kind of already starting to look forward to it. So yeah, make sure that you tell your friends and relatives to see if they're interested in computer science or C++. This is a boot camp they got to do. $150 a quarter. How could you go wrong? Okay, all right, so that's all. And I see that some of you have completed, but at the same time, I know that some of you are struggling. Hey, you got to keep this in mind. Don't just come into this like 3 or 4 days, even 2 days before, saying, all right, I got the weekend, I'm going to crack, knock this one out. Never happens. And I saw a lot of you who are basically on the, the way, maybe if you had like 5 or 6 hours more, you would just finish it. But I know that a lot of you are stuck there. meaning I need 5 more hours. But why not start 5 hours sooner then? Right? And so I saw a lot of you start late, and that's why you're stuck. So this one time we'll make an exception, I think, and say I'll accept all of the submissions until tomorrow morning, around 10 a.m. or so. But don't wait until then. Until tomorrow morning, I'll accept. I'll import all the scores with no penalty for this quest. Obviously the previous ones are done, and this one, and then after that, until Friday, 75%. Yeah. Okay. And remember, you only have to puppet. You don't have to dog it now. Puppet, then you can seal in your points, and then you can dog it later and let me know when you've dogged it. That's all. Yeah. All right. So do you have any questions for me? Hopefully you're finding all the stuff you're struggling with really interesting and engaging, right? Because sometimes you have this broken pointer and you don't know where the hell it's coming from, and you try all of these things, and each time you discover something saying, wait, I thought that was the case, but that's not the case, and this is not the case. I think it actually makes a little difference, right? It gives you a small, these things add up, and at the end you just feel so good about yourself, I think, as lots of students have confided. Not confided in sense, they actually posted about it on Reddit. So all of these things may look insignificant, but they add up, and at the end you just feel like, wow, I'm like a total pro here. And it's important to know these things really well, for a lot of reasons. Obviously, that, right? Because there's lots of people who, that's the other thing, right? With ChatGPT and all of those things, people who don't know their shit are going to be out of a job. Okay, so in the future, only people who actually know what the hell is going on will actually have something to do. Everybody else will just pay, get paid something like a retirement by the government, saying, don't just get into trouble, we'll pay you money. That's all. Okay, and be happy, but don't get into trouble. But everybody else who want to make a difference in the world, they'll actually know their shit. And I think that's because, AI is getting more and more powerful by the day. It wouldn't be surprising when, most of these rote things that we need to get done, we'll just get something to do it for us. Yeah. So the real value will be in what can you conjure up that is truly remarkable, even to an AI system. Like, Dr. Watson just discovered some pattern that, it would only have identified by chance, not by following any, formula. So those are the kinds of things that you can make a difference if you really know the stuff. And I think this is a very lucky group of students, right? Because you're on the cusp. You're on the cusp where if you of the time when people who don't know their shit are basically going to be out of their job, I think, right? In the very near future. So you got to be really good, meaning, and that's actually going to be good for us too, in many ways. Because if you're doing something, that means you actually love doing it, or you actually know it. You know your stuff and you're still doing it. You love doing it. And then, it's a win-win all the way around. Because otherwise it just proliferates the number of people who just do things without actually knowing it because they get a paycheck and doing a half-assed job, right? There's more and more of these people eventually, because the system will allow them to proliferate, I think, right? All of this is just, wild-ass theories here. But I really think knowledge never goes waste. Okay, you just pick it up and you put it as an extraordinary belt. You'll find so many different places where you can just bring it to bear. So I think this is a very good group, that it's all working together too. I think that's all very nice, right? You are all helping each other. I hardly ever interfere in the forums these days. Okay, look back in the past quarters. There's so many times when I had to jump into the Red subreddit and say, all right, this is the answer, that's the answer, this is the answer, because nobody was answering. And over the last couple of quarters, I noticed that I hardly ever do it, right? I just read this like I'm reading a book now. Someone asks a question, all I have to do is just wait for a couple of days, maybe. A couple of days is probably too much, asking too much of a student in terms of patience. But, I think patience also helps programmers in many ways. So it's good to practice that, I think. Yeah, and someone gives a kick-ass answer, right? Much better than I would even have phrased the answer. And it's all nice with examples, with pictures, like when John posted the matrix multiplication thing with the A, B, C, D, E, F and all that. It was actually drawn in a notebook and he took a photo with his phone or something like that, if I'm guessing, right? Yeah. And I think that's all really cool. Adds a nice level of touch to everything that you're sharing. It's personal. And I think that is what is special about this class, rather than many other classes I've taught before. So, but this time I think I'll make sure in fall that even though I'm back to teaching a face-to-face class, we won't do anything in secret. We won't have secret office hours one-on-one. Everything will be out in the open. It will just be open boot camp style. And I think we'll have a similar kind of situation, except in person. Yeah, well, hopefully no pandemic issues and all, but I think it'll be fun. Okay, yeah, spread the word around if possible. Get people to enroll. Yeah, especially since only 5 more quarters, right? I'm going to be retiring after that. So if CS2A, 2B, and 2C, yeah, they'll be able to complete all the way through. And if it's successful, then we'll be able to run 2 more cohorts like that, and 5 quarters, and we'll have two batches of students go all the way through from FANGs to complex graph algorithms, which is really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed reading your post, Christopher. Yeah, how this kind of brought together everything you've learned so far, right? All the way from CS2B, everything put together in that thing. I didn't realize that. In fact, I think what we should do is actually credit Michael Losef for this. Because well, not all the mini quests in quest number 9 are from Losef, but the core quests, the more the jewels of jewels of the mouse, right? Those actually belong to Michael Losef, because he was the one who laid down the path for all of the individual not quests, right? Individual labs that students should do all the way from CS2A. However, right, CS2A and 2B, I kind of did my own thing, which kind of matches the level of complexity that he did it. But in 2C, I was able to borrow I think 4 or 5 different labs from what Michael had done. Okay, and they're such nice checkpoints. And like you said, even I just realized the value of something that Michael had left for us. So this max flow is not only interesting in its own right, but it actually brings all of the skills you've learned in the entire track to bear on this one problem, and which is so cool. Very nice. I was pleased to see that. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of KCAS students. Everybody's working hard, and that's the important thing. And there's lots of people who have completed, close to completion too, right? I was still hanging around and just having fun. Okay, so I think that's what it is at the end of the class. You just have to have fun, so that in the even if C++ is not your cup of tea today, later on, maybe in 20 years time, you come back to it, you'll just come back with a good memory of it, saying, hey, last time I had it, it was actually fun. Okay, rather than saying, oh my gosh, I got to go back to it, I've managed to stay away for 20 years. So you won't have that kind of a mindset, I think, right? So just have fun, and it doesn't matter if you don't, yeah. So just I like what I'm saying. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right, so I'm kind of excited about the fall quarter. So see if we can get students into this is CS2A. Okay, you can't enroll in any of these things. Okay, because obviously you can volunteer as class helpers and mingle with the crowd and all. But yeah, I don't think Foothill will allow you to do the class. But yeah, certainly get your friends and other people to think about it. All right. Okay, no questions for me, right? So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have one
midterm.
question.
Yeah, you have a
I
question.
was about to ask about the midterm, like which quest is it up to?
Yeah. No quests are independent from the midterm. Okay, so quests are like homework problems that are separate from midterm. For midterms, you got to read the Losef modules, because there's lots and lots of algorithms in the Losef modules that we don't cover in the quests. Yes or no? Yeah. Like even shell sort and things like that. Well, you haven't got to matrix multiplication, lazy trees. Well, some things. Okay, there are some things that yeah, there's some things. There's quite a few things I maybe in CS2B that are in the modules, but not in the quests. Don't take a risk. So the questions in the midterm are going to be based only on the modules. So do the quest on the side, just to keep yourself entertained and knowing trying out things. But the Losef modules are what you'll need for the midterm. You can keep them open, and here's the thing that lots of people do: don't keep them open. Okay, if you keep them open and do the test, you'll run out of time, because you got to scroll and find out, and you get misled, and you got to understand the stuff at runtime rather than at load time. So just read the stuff before, so that when you look at and you only need to refer to it, not read the sections during the exam. In the past, people have done that, okay? One time, I think a student even tried to take the midterm on the bus, okay, to Foothill, over on his iPhone or something like that. And this is CS2A, or anyway, that's what they said. We thought it was funny. Don't try to do that, because if you lose your connection, mess happens and we have to clean it up, you know, and we don't know what your score is. You got to retest and things like that. So don't do that. That's all. Right? Just take it easy. No trick questions. Do the practice midterm. It'll probably open day after tomorrow, and stay open for a couple of days. It's only like a few questions, but you'll get a sample of, you know, what the questions look like, and the format and all, before you go on to
Practice test?
Hmm?
There's going to be a practice test.
Yeah, 5 questions, maybe 5 or 6 questions.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of, if you've done my CS2A or B, you don't need it, because it's just a format, or, you know, multi-choice, and then the ones you need to be careful about. I told my CS2B students, I might as well tell you guys too, because some of you haven't done my class before, are the questions that require multiple checkboxes to be checked. Like, it's not just A, B, C, or D. That's 25% chance. Yeah, it could be any combination, and because then you have more things to test the student. Yeah, you have more finer grained distinction. So those are the ones to make and so the strategy to approaching any of those questions, not just in my test, or not, you know, even if you go do, you know, SATs and things like that, right? Is not to look at the format of the question. This actually works, I think. Or you test it out, you know, and if it doesn't work, don't try it. Don't use it. Don't look at the format of the required answer before understanding and finding out the answer yourself in your head. Because I think that if you have a free-form exploration of the problem space in your head, you're much more likely to hit upon a solution than if you said, okay, well, you know, there's a solution and it's probably one of those 5. I think that's what the theory is. You know, maybe you can do some empirical tests to find out. So the strategy, I think, is to forget about the choices, especially if it's multiple answers could be right and all, because it's really, really tricky then. So just look at the problem and don't run it all. It's a pain to run it. And most of the time, if you run it, you'll miss a corner case and your question is tanked. So just think through the problem and formulate what is going to happen in your head already before looking at the, you know, what the question is. Is it true or false? Is it a fill in the blanks or multi-choice? Yeah, and so on and so forth. Don't look at it. Formulate what is going to happen and then look at it. You'll have a much better chance, I think, right? Try it out. And if it does work, share that in the forums, because, you know, I suggest these tips. People try it out. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work, so nobody mentions this in the forums, because I'm actually looking, you know, when I look in the forums, I say, well, you know, I said something that maybe it didn't work. So try it out. If it works, just share it with other people so that your future students can also, you know, benefit from these things. But I think that's what will really help, because every time I see these students getting, you know, every quarter hung up on these questions, saying, well, this is really tricky, you know, midterm is tricky and the final is tricky because you got to watch out for these questions. No, that's not the case at all. There's no tricks anywhere. It just says this is, you know, find the answer. If you know the answer, you'll know what, even if there's a million checkboxes, you'll know exactly which ones to check. Yeah. So that's what we're driving at there. Any other questions about the midterm? Obviously, also after the midterm, you send me corrections if you want. Okay. So once if you've got a few questions wrong, just send me an email with, oh, I got the question wrong, but I understand it now, and this is what should go on. Right. I'm happy to go and consider those corrections and you know, reinstate points for you. Okay. So there's nothing to be stressed out over. You have to enjoy the midterm just like it's just the quests. Yeah, that's all. All right. Okay. Hey, Chris, why don't you show your demo and then I can take off? Yeah. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, so
Great.
I'll explain it along the way. I'll just share the demo first and then I'll show the code. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah. So it's a Windows PC?
Yeah, it is. So I have to use Docker to virtualize the Linux.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I already have the command here, so I'll just run it.
And yeah, I remember now. And we tested that it actually supports this terminal supports ANSI codes or something like that.
Yeah, it does. So So I'll run the main file, which is cubef.c++, and then it will be the output will be a.out, and then to run it is ./a.out. And then if I run it and zoom out a little bit,
Oh wow, that is so cool.
the
That is
buffering
so
is
cool.
the buffering is still buggy.
Oh,
but-
beautiful. Hey,
But I
that
can
is so nice.
I can tweak a lot of things like
Yeah.
let me share the code.
You know what would be really cool?
Uh,
So how are you doing this? Are you generating a lot of frames and dumping them to the screen?
Yeah, I am. So I'm constantly running this while loop. Oh, not this one. This was yeah. So this
Oh, I see.
I have a function that
You know what would be
generates a
really cool?
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So I
You
have,
know what would be really cool, Chris?
yeah. What is
Just run the command. Run the command that you had before.
yeah.
What was it? A.out or something?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah,
dot
but I'm
dot
not looking at
slash.
the terminal. You gotta
Oh
go to your
right.
terminal.
I can share the whole screen. Hold on. I think that would be easier. Screen. There it is. Yeah, it's dot
All right,
slash
okay.
a dot.
How much disk space do you have? Do you have a reasonable amount of disk space?
Yeah, I have an external, so that's fine.
No, this particular directory. Just go all the way to the beginning of the command. Yeah, say df-k, df space -k dot. No, space dot dash k space dot. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hit return. Actually, dash m dot and no dash h dot dot.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, you have the dot. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the font is so tiny I can hardly see it. Okay, yeah, hit that. Oh, you got it. Oh, you got 238, and then you used up 228.
Yeah.
You got 90 left. Yeah. Okay.
That's why I need an external.
So go to the place where you have the external drive. Copy this a.out guy. Copy the a.out to this place where you have this external guy.
Okay. Hold on. Let me move the file to the external.
Yeah. It is fun. But you guys, do you guys mind? We're just trying some fun here. After this, you can have your time. Okay, I'll be off your screen, and then you can talk. I just want to try something out. It sounds like fun.
Okay.
Well, as he's getting ready, what I was trying to do, I can explain it to you guys, right? Is what he had was he's basically just spitting out ASCII characters to the terminal, and it's showing up as an animation using ANSI sequences. So if it's just ASCII characters, well, just why not just stuff the ASCII characters into a text file, so that you'll have a text file that you can share with someone else and say, all you have to do is type this text file and you'll see magic happening right in front of your eyes. So it's a text file that produces an animation on your screen if you cat it. I don't know, it sounds like it's too nerdy, but I think nerds would absolutely love it, right? Because it is something that you totally not expect, right? Its text file is like in the age of AI and chat systems and so on. We're talking about a simple text file. This is close to the machine, and like Unix people and Linux people, and so we say, but if you just all you have to do is type it in an ANSI capable terminal, and then you'll see magic unfold in front of your eyes, like rotating. Well, he did a cube, but obviously I think that means that you can triangulate and do any solid after that. Yeah, so that's really cool. It looks like sophisticated graphics.
No,
just using ANSI codes.
It's not.
Well, yeah.
I was trying to do the Magnum Octopus formula, but then I ended up going to a matrix projection perspective stuff rabbit hole and like use the zero circle
I think
to
this
add
is
the
much
depth.
better. This is much better.
I can also change like the offset and stuff. I can change the offset, the X offset and the Y offset, like you.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that because there was a clipping at the top, right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's because I was actually messing around with that.
Yeah. Don't worry. Most of it is there, enough to make an impression. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be that demos have to be 100% all the time. The demo needs to be enough to show that this thing is possible at all, right? Because otherwise it's not a demo, it's something you sell. Are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm copying the files over.
No, you don't have to copy all the files. Just copy that a.out. That's all.
Okay.
Copy that a.out, share your screen, and get into a directory that is mounted on that drive. Because we're just going to create a big ass file. It's not going to be gigabytes, right? After all, it's going to be an ASCII file. We're talking, in the age of media and all. So just what we're going to do is run your command greater than, which means take the output of the command and put it in a text file. That's all, right? And you're going to say cube.txt. And as a text file, which is going to contain the output of this file. And then after about 5 or 6 seconds, you get hit Control-C. So this text file will contain the output of that command running for 5 seconds. And then it'll probably be, I don't know, 500 megabytes because it'll be lots of frames in it. But they're all text frames. And then you can say, go to a terminal and say, cat the file. Just type the file out and you got this thing. And that will be totally unexpected, right? In fact, you should, when you got it done, you can even clean it up later, the offset and all. You should share it once you generate a text file saying, cube.txt, you should share it on Stack Overflow, right? Because I think it'll just go viral among the geeks, among the real geeks, right? It will actually go viral because nobody expects a text file to produce magic like that. Yes?
Right.
Yeah. So it'll just be, everybody will be sharing it. And even then, and the size of the file too, right? Even if it's going to be doing that fancy thing, the size is going to be ASCII, what one frame is going to be 1024. It's not even 1024. You're probably doing 100 by 100 square, 200 by 200 square.
It was 140 times 80 maximum.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say it's 100 times 100, 10,000. So it's 10,000 bytes per frame. Yeah. And let's say you're doing 20 frames a second. So it's 20 times 10,000 is 200,000. Yes. Someone has to keep track of the math. So it's 200,000 bytes for a 1 second animation. So it's just a megabyte. It's a megabyte for a 5 second animation. So it's a file that is cube.txt. That's 1 megabyte. Compare it to some even simple jingles. Are MP3 files. They're more than a megabyte. But you got a megabyte file that you just cat it and you get a 5 second animation on screen. So that is really cool. So I think that is very, very geek worthy. Okay, so you totally share that on Stack Overflow. I'll help you write the post if you want, okay? But I'm pretty sure you'll do it. I'm just eager to see the output.
For some reason, I can't move it to my external.
Okay, all right. It's going to be 2 megabytes or something like that. Just go to your terminal. You got 8 gigabytes free. Just go to your terminal. I thought it was going to be gigabytes, but it's 5 seconds. So so let's try that. I think because then I can leave you guys, please.
Yeah, I can share my screen now.
Oh my gosh, what time is it? Okay.
This one.
Yeah, just do the a.out. And also maximize your Docker window. Maximize it so that it takes up your whole screen. Yeah, okay. And then you can just run .a. No. Yeah, okay. Now, kill it. Control-C. All right. So up arrow. Did you do up arrow? Yeah. Right. Space greater than. Space greater than. Greater than. Space greater than. Greater sign. Greater than sign. Yeah. Cube.txt. Where's my phone?
Cube.txt.
No, not less than. Greater than.
Oh.
I can't see. Actually, let me change classes. Wait, don't hit return. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, hit return. Hit return. Is it running?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now well, let's say 5 seconds.
Does it produce a?
Yeah. Hit Control-C. Control-C. Okay. All right, now do an ls-l.
LS.
No, ls-l. ls space dash L. All right, so ls-lh, ls space dash LH.
LH?
Yeah, H for human, because right now the bytes, I don't know, I can't count the megabytes and kilobytes. Okay, so cube.txt, our calculation was like super duper cool, right? Because we estimated 2 megabytes, but the actual size is 3 megabytes. That was like 5 second animation. Right. Actually, this estimation we did is done by a lot of people, but it was actually popularized by this guy called Enrico Fermi. Have you heard of Enrico Fermi? He's a
No.
guy, I don't know, he worked in the Los Alamos lab or something like that, atomic bomb guy. And apparently the story, the apocryphal story, I think, maybe goes that when the US detonated a bomb somewhere in New Mexico or something like that, okay? And these guys, Fermi and the other scientists, were in an observation deck many miles away, okay? Many miles away in some safe area. So, but when the bomb went off, or when the shock wave hit or something like that, Fermi dropped a paper napkin in the room and then calculated the distance it fell away from where it should have fallen because of the shock wave. Okay, so he said, if there was no shock wave, it would have fallen here, but because of the shock wave, it fell here. Therefore, based on this distance, I can calculate the megatonnage of the bomb that exploded, given I know how far away the explosion was. Does it make sense? Okay, and he did all that in his mind. And the thing is, there's no trick to it. Okay, and people think, oh my gosh, he's a rocket scientist or a nuclear scientist. That's why he's able to come up with these things. No, it's actually very simple. Anybody can do this, and children do this all the time too. Essentially, it is by when you have to solve a big problem and you break it down into a lot of subproblems and solve one at a time. And when you have to make a quantifiable decision, one place before going to the next, just make a wild ass guess. Well, shouldn't be totally wild ass, right? Some kind of reasoned guess and go on. Say, all right, maybe that's going to be 100. Maybe this is going to be, and keep them all round numbers. So, additions and everything would be nice. Yeah? And maybe that's going to be 1,000. Okay, that's maybe going to be a gigaplex or something like that. All right. So, and you make these numbers totally assume what these numbers are going to be. And the beauty of the method is that when you do these things, nobody makes perfect guesses. And our bad guesses or underestimates tend to somehow, most of the time, compensate for our overestimates. And so what we tend to find is that this overall solution at the end kind of happens to be the ballpark. Okay, it's really cool. In fact, if you look at one of the 2A lectures from a long time ago, and I used to do this in class, we calculated a lot of things using this technique. I think it also goes by the name Fermi technique, after this guy who popularized it. And so we use this technique to calculate the number of words in Harry Potter, or something like that, without knowing anything. How do you know? You only seen it on the library. How do you know how many words are there? How many letters are there? Or what size USB stick you need to copy all the text files for Harry Potter? So all of those things you can estimate using this. And it's very, and everything is related, right? So if someone says, what is 2 to the 10? Or 2 to the 20? And it's a million because 2 to the 10 is approximately 1,000. So 20 is 1,000 times 1,000. It's a million. So that kind of thing. It'll just become all automatic for you. And that's the fun part. Anyway, so this cube.txt is really cool. 2.9 gigabytes, right? Now here's the cool thing. Just cat the file, right? So before you cat it, what was this thing you ran? What is a cube.exe?
Oh, I think that's the one from the Visual Studio Code.
All right, don't worry.
Yeah.
You did 2 things to get to a.out. Well, what was it? What were the 2 things you did to get to a.out?
Oh, I have to run the G++ first.
All right, okay, yeah, okay.
To
all
compile
right. So,
the.
now this cube.txt. You can just cat it. Cat cube.txt. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, okay. 2.9, but clean up the picture, right? Get the offset and all, and make it nice.
Yeah.
And you can post it on Stack Overflow, saying and make it a 10-second animation, much nicer. Okay, and maybe a different geometric object, because once you can do the vertices and fill up the areas, you can just say, I'm going to pick and choose vertices. It doesn't have to be a cube anymore. Yeah. Hey, that is so cool. That is so cool.
I changed the offset here. I centered everything.
All right. Okay. So I think what you should do is generate a 15-second animation. Right, for 5 seconds it was the 3 gigabyte, yeah. So 15, maybe 5 times that. It's going to be 15 gigabytes, right? Something around that. Megabytes. So it's still a very small megabyte file. You can actually share it on Stack Overflow, and write a post saying, "Hey, text file with a magic cube in it." Right? Cat the file and see what's in it. Right? I think it will be so cool. Oh yeah. How do you get the delays? How do you get the delays in catting the file?
What do you mean the delay?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
When you actually run it, you're using a sleep, yes?
Yeah, I'm using sleep.
So, but when you cat it, you don't have the luxury of a sleep.
Not sure about that.
Okay, I'll tell you how to overcome that. You know, when you do it eventually, I'll tell you how to overcome that, right? So you won't be able to do a sleep when you cat the file because you know you don't have control of the CPU.
Yeah.
What you can do is instead of sleeping, draw the same frame 5 times or 6 times. So that's reasonably compute intensive. Okay, you can measure it. You know, on most computers you can measure it. You can say, all right, yeah, if it's slow also it doesn't matter because it's never going to be so slow that it's jerky. So draw the same frame 5 times. So that means that, you know, each frame will be there many times before it switches to the next one and many times the text file. So even then the file is going to be like 5 times, you know, if you draw the frame 50 times, it's just going to be 50 times 2.9 megabytes or something like that. Yeah, you can experiment with these things. It's really fun, really fun. It's looking really cool. You should, you know, tell Adam to take a look at it too, because he was trying to do something too, right?
Yeah,
and I think it'll be fun. Yeah, thank you for the demo, Chris. Very nice. Yeah, and when you've docked everything, you can talk to Oliver, and I think he's setting up something on GitLab, and he'll get you up to speed on stuff.
Got it.
Language models. All right. Okay. Anything else for me? I gotta go 2B. I gotta go to the 2B class. Okay, they're also meeting at 6 p.m. today. All right, so very nice talking to you. I like took up your whole damn hour. Okay, well, you know, part of it was a nice demo by Chris. Thanks. All right, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.
I actually sort of have a general question about that, Chris. How did you get it to refresh so fast?
What is it? For the
How did you get it to write to the screen so quickly? Because I tried to do something that was sort of similar, but not nearly as like cool and what looked like powerful as how you did it. But every time it refreshed, it took a lot longer to write to the whole screen, so it looked like it was flashing all the time, and it was really difficult to look at.
Interesting. I use 2 arrays in my code. So the first one is to measure the depth, and the other one is to store the actual characters. And then I just kind of loop it off to the terminal. It might be slow because
I used vectors. Maybe it might have been that actually, because vectors are bigger, aren't they?
I can send you my code. Yeah, well, what I did was I dedicated a certain amount of space because I know exactly like how big the screen is. So I just have a set amount of a set constant of byte dedicated to the vector / array using a memset function.
Okay.
You could try that.
Gotcha. I'm gonna note both of those down, and I'm gonna look back at that and try and do stuff similar to that. That was very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, super awesome. Thank you for showing us that. All right, I also have to go. Later.
I also have to go.
Gotta go. See you guys.